Hello, and welcome to Privers Fiskeflyr. Today we're gonna tie this fly. This fly is a Flatwing streamer I made with some bucktails and other materials. So we have to see what I've been talking about. It's very nice tie. It moves nice in the water. It has a lot of movement and it looks nice. This water is materials is mostly, I would say mostly bucktails, so it will need some water treatment before you can show off on the vise, but I'm gonna show you what I mean. So well, let's start tying this fly. I'm gonna show you how I made it. Okay, while the fly is drying onto the drying wheel, I'm gonna tell a little about the materials I used in this fly. I use this kind of hook. This is an off-brand hook, about the size, I think this is about the size 2, I think, right? Short shank hook. You don't need anything else for this. For the flash I use this pearl Flashaboo, alright, long strands, stiff, nice to use. And I'm been using some bucktails for this. This is white bucktail, and I use some blue bucktail. And I used some body materials like this. Right now I just can't find a word for it. I think it's, well, it's coming back to me. I know. That was the body material. You can use whatever body materials you want. Of course you have braid. It's called braid, sorry. Gold braid. And I used some, I think it's nice, long fibered Arctic goat, alright. And I use for the feather, I use some saddle hackle and grizzly. Use that to make the tail, alright, together with the bucktail. Well, and also I use some 5mm flat gold eyes, and also secured all this wrapping with some super glue, free of choice. I also use this glue to get the eyes on place. You could have used super glue, of course. And to make and cover all this head, I use this epoxy, sap epoxy. 2 component materials that contains of resin and 1 hardener. Woo! That happens. Well, a bit action. Something fall down from my shelf there onto my camera. And what I want to tell you, because the accident, before the accident happened, you can use this glue as well to cover the eyes, make the head. But I used the epoxy one because of the time it takes to cure. This is take several hours to cure, so it has to stay on the drying wheel a little longer. Alright, sorry about the accident. Well, and of course I'm gonna show you the fly finished with the water treatment and all. When it's done on the drying wheel, I have to just wait some minutes. What to check to see if the head is stiff. You can check this little cup I made. I used for mixing the glue, and see if the glue is very stiff. But it's getting more stiffer. I'm gonna wait some more minutes and I'm gonna show you the fly. Alright, just hold on there. Well, let's start tying them. First of all, I put the hook in the vise. My vise is a Dyna King indexer. Start with attaching my GSP thread. Got my scissors. Snip this baby off. Wind back to about the hook bend. Then I take my bucktail, white bucktail, take a piece of about the middle, my favorite part of bucktail. This is gonna be a fairly sparse fly, so I don't take out too much. Just try to get rid of the shorter pieces. And I measure out how long I want this fly. It's gonna be a fairly long one, so about that. I snip the remains off. Touch it to the top. Snip it off. Sorry, tie it off. Oh yeah. It's gonna be the top. On the top. And I want some flashaboo on this. I use some strands of this. 3 strands. I double it over the thread. You can snip off the remains of how long you want this flash to be. Start with tying it in on the top there and go backwards. This GSP is very slippery, so I should have used some wax on it, but that's went okay. See, now it's very long, so I take a snip off. I don't want it to stick out too much. Okay, and I can see now if my glue has finally got down to the, it has not, so I use some super glue for this. Just a little dab just to make it stay there. I found out I'm a bit allergic to resins, but small dabs of super glue don't gas too much, so why don't use it? Okay, now I just finished to tie on the tail, but I want, it's gonna be a flatwing this one, so I take my saddle hackle, find a pretty long one, I tie it on the top, snip it off, right on top, just some loose wrappings. I see some tires tie this in with the feathery side, the fluffy side, but I don't think that's too necessary. Well, it stays where I want it, and in the same procedure I take 2 more feathers, 1 on each side of this, to complete the tail. Okay, 1 on my side and 1 on your side. So I snip it off, measure out how long I want it. I want it just as long as the top one, so I tie it on like that. Just been not so lucky with this one, I think. Be sure not to fray your GSP, then it will all fall apart. I take the last feather. I got the one cape just for this purpose. I bought it just to make these kind of flies, so I chose a grizzly one. So I put that on the side, try to make the shiny side go out, and this is the one. Some loose wraps like that, and attach the feathers and some super glue just to make it all stay there. And now I'm gonna use some body materials. It's gonna be this gold braid. I think that's enough. This is how it looks. To assure that it stays there, I just tie it down in the front and go back. Some loose turns here and clean up, and some hand over hand wrappings of this body materials. And attach it to the hook just like this. Snip it off. You can throw it away. Oh, I'll go back with my tying thread, because this body material is the purpose of this is to make it shine through. Alright, now I'm gonna take some more bucktail, snip of a bunch like this on the middle of the tail, get rid of the short ones, and measure out. You see, I want it to be about that, so it kind of taper. Alright, snip off the remains, put it where I want it, like this, and some loose wraps to just push this around the hook as good as I can, because now it's not just a bare hook. You have this body materials around, and you can, if you want, take one more piece and attach it to the bottom of this fly. Make it just along the length of this first bunch. Try to just attach it without make a lot of fuss, like this. Try to get it even on each side of the hook. Distribute it. Now you can see I have bucktail over and under. And now I take some wrappings in front, and I take another bunch, just taper it like that. Try to make your fingers go around the hook so you can distribute these babies. It's very lively in the water, this bucktail. So some people may think that bucktail is way too stiff to use on flies, but the experienced one knows that bucktails is very lively in water when it gets wet. Alright? Some loose wrappings and distribute it. I'll take some cleaning job just as well. Be sure not to cut your thread. Okay, that's right. Some more of this super glue. Now I'm gonna change the color of this, and I take this bucktail, blue and white. This is more coarse, so I just have to get some fiber of this as well, and I want on this I go further up to the top to get the better bucktail. Okay, and I do as I did on the first. I take, measure out even more. I want it to go around the hook. Try to distribute it the best I can, and do the same on the side. Or maybe I shall not do this on the other side, because of course I want this fly to be white on the belly, so I can take a white piece on the other side. Okay, like that. I like the white one better because it has more crinkle in it, so the blue is not as good quality. Measure out. Alright. Maybe you think that the fly is looking a bit weird, but because that's not so strange, because this fly is gonna have some water treatment afterwards, that the water will make the shape of this fly. Alright. You see, now I got the white on the bottom and blue on top. Oh, things is getting scary here. Things is getting down, falling down behind me. I think it just was a bag, but right, just try to clean up this here. I should have take some wax on the thread, and I can't. Yeah, there it is. I take some wax to make it not so slippery. GSP is a fantastic thread, but it's very slippery, and you don't want it to slip over your material. It's getting a bit better, but now I think I shall just take and take a little more white on the bottom and tie this fly finished. All right, check it on the bottom there. because now the ice is gonna come on. Let's see how it looks on the top side. I should have taken some more blue. Maybe I take a little bit more. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take some darker blue color, I think, just to finish it off, but I have to find another material. Alright, I got this goat tail. Is it Arctic goat? And I'm quite sure, I think it's not, but I'm not quite sure because this is a long piece I got. Old piece, sorry. So I just measure out how long I want it, snip it off, get rid of it. I think it's gonna be just as long as this. Snip this baby off, tie it on top. Like that. Should have been very nice tying, but it didn't. And measure out and push down with your fingers, control it. It's not so important that cover all of it, because the ice is gonna cover most of this. Well, it's getting to look very good. All right. Now I take my scissors and snip off everything here, and I take a lighter maybe afterwards to clean it real off. Where did I put the lighter? Oh, there it is. I'm gonna be very careful now, so I don't. Well, it doesn't matter because this lighter is gone. I gotta find another one. Hopefully I got one more. This goes in the bin. There we have it. That will do. Now I take and tie it off. Take my whip finisher, Sloan's whip finish. It's a nice piece of equipment. Like that. Tie it off. You see now you have this nice piece of fly. And now I gotta take on my eyes. Just have to clean my disc a little. It goes in a hurry. And find my dubbing needle. And first I take one little piece of glue like this, liquid fusion. I use this to attach my eyes. It's a big bottle, so I don't have to go so much on. A little dab on each side for each eye. Take my dubbing needle, peel it off the paper like this, and attach it and push down on it. It'll stay there a little bit. and the other side. Wait a little bit. I can, if I want, color this eye, this front here, with my instant marker. And I'm gonna do exactly that because I don't want it to stick out. I have this little set of have some dark blue. I think that's okay. Just color this thread wrappings. I don't mind putting the lacquer on this because it's also going to be covered up with some epoxy afterwards. And I'm going to do right now, I'm going to mix the epoxy for you. I use this little measure cup divided in milliliters, and I take my epoxy, Zap epoxy, resin and hardener. I put the resin in first. And the hardener afterwards. Just the same amount or more. Smells like fish, this hardener. Very nice smell. Very false bad smell on this hardener. Okay, now I mix it in this cup, and now I'm gonna cover all this. But first I'm gonna take my little, I got these small clips somewhere. I'm gonna find it. See, I got these small hair clips. Just collect all the materials like this, and that helps me during the building of this fly because it keeps the materials together. See, now this glue is getting drier, and I got 5 minutes on me to get all this covered up. I'm gonna cover this head up to about here, so I'm a bit worried about longer materials on the bottom there, but maybe I just can cut it off afterwards. Okay, let's start. Cover it up. I use a rotation wheel for drying wheel for this. It's a wheel that rotates my fly so the lacquer or the epoxy glue distributes evenly around this head, and it's very nice. I can glue off several flies at once. So just put it on the wheel so it just stay there and goes into curing. See, now it's getting a bit dripping now, but it's gonna help me make this fly look very good. It's a bit, maybe you think this is a bit time consuming, but really not. It's if you have UV resin. That of course is a easier choice if you have this equipment, but I don't have it, so I have to do with this, and I think the results is just as good. So we see it's getting very nice. So this is maybe a little more epoxy than I need, but I just want to cover the ice thoroughly so we don't slip out. This is the most important job. It takes about 5 minutes for this to cure. I used my bodkin to just, you see now already the glue is getting hard, so I have to put this onto the drying wheel soon now. See, the glue is stiffening up, so it takes about 5 minutes, and this is gonna go completely hard. So I'm gonna take a little break and come back to you so you can see what I mean about the water treatment and everything else. So wait a bit and I'll come back to you. Alright, here you have it, folks. This is the finished fly with a head and all and the water treatment. What do you think? It was a very fast tie. Have been some a little, well, it's not quite perfect, but I'm happy and the fish is happy. You see, now you have this very nice tapered form from front to back. The flash is in between here. You have the bucktail, you have the flatwing feathers, you have the eyes completely cured. There is some air bubbles in here, but does not affect the ways the fly fish. It has this large hook cap, good hook capability. It's a easy cast, goes nice in the water, and when the head is cured, you can use your scissoring, some hairdressing. Well, it's not so difficult to fly. Fly cast is not so difficult to tie also. So that's what I had. And thank you all for watching this video, and be sure to tie one of those. It's nice to have in the box. You can fill up your box quite fast. Alright, thank you all and bye bye.